And welcome to the ETF Edge portion of Halftime Report. I'm Bob Pisani. This will likely be a record year for the IPO market, and the fall season will be chock full of big consumer names going public, including Warby Parker in a direct listing, Fresh Market, Allbirds, Instacart, Chobani, Sweetgreen, Impossible Foods. Here to talk about it, Kathleen Smith from Renaissance Capital, an advisory firm to IPO investors who also runs the Renaissance Capital IPO ETF. That's a basket of the most recent 60 or so IPOs. And Brian Schaefer, Managing Director at InvestX Capital, which is enabling a marketplace for private securities transactions, allowing employees and shareholders to get liquidity while the company is still private. Kathleen, the first 8 months, 279 IPOs raised $96 billion. What's the outlook for the final 4 months? And could we make this a record year?
Well, the numbers are already astonishing. And the reason the issuance has been so good is back in 2020, the Renaissance IPO Index that this ETF tracks, which is a basket of already traded companies, was up over 100% compared to the S&P 500. Much better. And that sort of opened the floodgates for the second half of 20 and into the first half of 21. So we've seen strong issuance. We had a little pullback in the summertime, and now the index is outperforming the S&P over the last 3 months. That triggers an opening of the IPO market, and we are seeing that coming up. We expect to end the year with another 100 IPOs. That'll get us to a number of 375, which will be a record compared to anything we've seen since the internet bubble of 2000. And we're thinking there'll be about another 30 billion raised. And if you add that to what's been done so far, it will be about 125 billion, the most raised ever in the IPO market. Big time.
Well, let's hope, Kathleen, let's hope the market holds up. Brian, it used to be companies would be private for 5 years, and then they go public. Now I see companies sitting around, some of these already, 10 years they've been private, and they're still not going public. Tell me something about what kind of opportunities are available for people who want to buy or sell shares of private companies. What are you doing to help them out?
Yeah, and thanks, Bob. It's great to be back in my old stomping grounds here at the New York Stock Exchange. And some of the things that we're doing a little bit differently at InvestX and the platform that we've just recently launched is thinking about how to democratize investing in private companies. And so we have two very distinct offerings. Number one is we go out and we seek and secure investments in private companies, then put that on our platform and allow our broker-dealer partners to distribute that to their clients, giving access to private companies for the first time ever for accredited investors. And as we see, the opportunity there has just been massive as the asset class in general is just pistol hot right now.
That's going to be very important. And quickly, how are you actually enabling people to do that? You have to get a broker, though. You can't be a private person.
So we only allow reputable and regional tier 2 broker-dealers onto the platform. But the second piece of the platform and what it enables is transacting in private companies that early investors, founders, employees, or officers have shares of. And if you think about engineering a win-win for early investors and startup companies who can now sell those shares for their liquidity needs to institutional clients who would love to have access to this super exciting asset class, as to your point, companies are now staying private for 10 to 15 years.
Okay, thanks very much. Kathleen and Brian will offer a deeper dive into the upcoming IPO season and how you might be able to buy into private companies in the future. ETF Edge at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's etfedge.cnbc.com. Halftime. Back right after this.